policy. Fine. Okay, now in the last class, we had a little bit discussion about what is government political environment. If you remember, we had a little bit discussion about what is political environment and all. Have you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we will focus to the second unit. Our second unit specifically revolving around different roles of government. Then we need to study what is monetary policy and fiscal policy. Then we will talk about this industrial policies, then privatization and industrial sickness. This is what the broad syllabus of second unit. Fine. So move to the first portion of your syllabus, that is called what is the role of government. Fine. Now what is the role of government?
ଗାଁକୁ ଗଲ ଯୋଉ
Right. Okay, someone if not muted, kindly Rajendra Swai Babu tike mute kar diyo. Fine. Okay. Now, what is role of government and why this role is highly essential for in view of study? Fine. The first one is what is the role of government? If you remember in the last class, we had a little bit discussion about the political environment where I told you that the political environment specifically made three different, utility roles. The first one, political environment always tried to create different laws, trade, regulations towards the betterment of trade and commercial environment, business environment of our country. Second one, I told you that the second role of second work of a political environment, not only creating that environment for the people, not only creating the rules and regulation for the betterment of trade, but also it has to be how it is formulated and benefited to the society. That is also a major look after of government. Khali rules and regulation create Kartaba, it was not the end of any role. What else is required? The else is you have to formulate the rules and regulation what is being prepared by you in a proper way so that the whole society, the whole human being has to be benefited in a proper way. So that was called executory role. If you remember, first one is called judiciary role. Second one is executory role, and third one is called a role of control. That means whatever rules, regulations you are, we try to make it. It has to be controlled by the, government. Now, how to control? Control ro dita part. Either upon a highly awareness diuntu, if you aware the people about all the pro and cons of the rules and regulations, then maybe people will aware about that and try to go through the rules and regulations and in an ethical way all these things has to be maintained. If not then one has to go for the penalty. So penalty in terms of money, that means a monetary penalty, or maybe the penalty is being identified with the judiciary custody. Fine. So either upon penalty diyantu through the monetary, that means upon paisa dete, you are penalized with the money, or maybe if the unethical practices are void, so many different rules and regulation, and according to that you are being custody or you are being priced to the custody, then upon custody ko bhi jai parante. Fine. So that is called control, which is highly required in the role of government. Sorry, the political environment. See, what is the role of government? Remember, while we are talking about role of government, it is all about to understood how the trade and commerce of the business environment was done through these roles and regulation of government. Yes. Good. Let me good 10 minutes. Good 10 minutes. Good 10 minutes. Yes. Okay. Sorry for this disturbance. Fine. So when we're talking about what are the different roles of government, there are four different roles of government. Fine. What are the four different roles? Write down. First role is called role of creating regulation. So the first role of the government, there are four different roles. The first role of government is called regulatory role. Regulatory role. The second role of government is called your role of promotion, that is promotional roles. Promotional roles. Came to the third one, enhancing always entrepreneurship. It is one of the major role of government. That was the third one, which is called entrepreneurial role.
Ma'am, second role.
Second one is promotional role. Promotional role. Third one is entrepreneurial role. And came to the fourth one. Fourth one, government always try to make some planning for the betterment of the society through the industries. So that is called your planning role. Fourth one is called planning role. Let me go to that slide. Apan mane jane.
मैडम प्लीज चार्टा पॉइंट आउ थर कहि देबे
ଆପଣ ସ୍କ୍ରିନ୍ ରେ ଯଦି ମୋର ପିପିଟି ଟାକୁ ଅନ୍ କରିବେ ମୋ ପିପିଟି ଟା ବି ସେଇ ପେଜ୍ ଟା ନେଇ ଆସିଛି ରାଇଟ୍ ଇଫ୍ ଯଦି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ହ୍ୱାଇଟ୍ ବୋର୍ଡ ଟା କ୍ଲିୟରଲି ଭିଜିବଲ୍ ନାହିଁ ତାହେଲେ ଆପଣ ପିପିଟି ଟାକୁ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ right there are four roles of government one is called regulatory role second one is called promotional role third one is called entrepreneurial role and fourth one is called planning role fine now came to the first one that is called regulatory role remember regulatory role is being divided into two parts regulatory role is being divided into two parts direct regulation and indirect regulation direct regulation and indirect regulation. Fine. Now you have to write certain points under this particular regulation. जोटा कि मो स्लाइड रे नहीं आपण लिखि दियंतु दी तीनटा पॉइंट अछि ता परपर बुझंतु व्हाट इज डायरेक्ट रेगुलेशन व्हाट इज इनडायरेक्ट रेगुलेशन now why regulation is required if go back to the last class I always says that when we have a monopolistic environment maybe regulations required but it was not required with a very high range but when the market is supposed to be a oligopoly market is a oligopoly market he gala fine jadra market oligopoly market hela that means what number of buyers and number of sellers are very increased in a very accelerated way it was increased in a acceleration तो जतले बहुत increase करि जाउची number of buyers and numbers of sellers सेतबेले कोन होची to attract the consumers to attract the selling aspects people will make some unethical practices कोन करबा धरि नियंतु जेमति कि for an example there is a branded company and non branded company a branded company came along with his own brand image while he is selling the product fine गोटे unbranded company गोटे नुआ company कोथरे sell करछि product only with the name with the only the features of the product no brand image no previous records nothing no regular customers no regular and those are very loyal customers they do not have anything about that right there is no loyal customers there is no regular customer it is a completely new product came to the market and competing with a brand who has already have a major market share गोटे लोकर बहुत बड़ मार्केट शेयर ताको फाइट करूची कि गोटे नुवा कंपनी जार कोनोसी ब्रांड नहीं कोनोसी लॉयल कस्टमर्स नांती यूजर कस्टमर्स नांती से कोन करिवो ही विल एथिकली fight but what happened he was not able to sell the product as expected for the sustainability I am not talking about profit as expected for the sustainability now when this will happen what next the company will take step forward maybe the company will practicing some myopia concept what is myopia concept it has been discussed I remember while I was taking your marketing paper. What is myopia concept? Anyone? What is myopia concept? Concept of myopia.
To observe the future things.
To observe others. How to better reply answer?
Foresight of getting the point create larger company organization.
Um, Anyone
Market.
else? Myopia is a concept where the companies are focuses to short-term selling aspects. That means what? Their only focuses to a particular time period. Their only focuses to a particular time period. For what? They will try to attract the customer. Myopia concept never exercises to the long-term practices. ଯେମିତି କି ଆପଣ कंपनी स्टार्ट ହେଲା ଆପଣ କିଛି ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ attract କରୁଛନ୍ତି for a shorter time period, and that for that certain time period you will grab a maximum profit, right? And it was, you have never thought of a sustainability for a longer time period. ଆପଣ longer time period sustainability କଥା ଭାବୁନାହାନ୍ତି कंपनी ର। ଆପଣ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ବର୍ଷକ ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରଡକ୍ଟ ତିଆରି କରିବି, ବର୍ଷକରେ ବିକିବି, and I will become a rich person. I will never thought of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or might be a later to that. That was called myopia concept. जोटी आपण product का use and throw concept रे आसुची. Using it, throwing it. Fine. सटी आपण कहउचंदी myopia concept is okay. Like all Chinese products are having myopia concept. They will never exercise or never create a product or never manufacture a product for a longer time period. They always believe that if the product is for a shorter time period, then the whole trade environment, commerce environment will move. बुझियोची जेमति कि नै जानि गोटे छोटो एग्जांपल आमे जेकोनोसी गोटे प्रोडक्ट किनछु आमे भाबुछु कि मो को केते एक्सट्रीम लिमिट पर्यंत यूज करि पारि, right? Even if we will buy a shoe, we will think about we should have to wear this for 6 months or for a year. जदि वर्षे पूर्वरु जतरा खराब गला की जोता है. But the concept of Chinese market was completely reverse to this. They think about how cheaply the product available, cheaper price re kete product available rohibo, and for a shorter time period. Like you use it, you be very happy, very satisfied. After 2 months, the product ultimately go to waste, and सेटा एमिति खराब हो जे आपण को यूज ही करि परिबेनी, and आपण तक नेबे डस्टबिन रे फोपाड़ देबे. So in that way, the manufacturing unit constantly running their business, manufacture the product, people will buy the product, use the product, throw it, फिर से buy, use, throw it. So it was, moving the whole business environment. That nothing wrong in that. But upon the myopia concept, unethical practices karibe, then you'll be penalized. Got it? So government कौन करेना चाहिए बहुत हाई रेंज ऑफ unethical practices होबा पूर्वरु government try to make some regulations that is might be direct or might be indirect. Write down some of the direct regulations. First direct regulation, under the direct regulation, first regulation came that is called government always try to make or fix the minimum and maximum price of the commodities. Fixing the minimum and
Hello,
maximum.
hello,
Yes.
hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Sir, ma'am, PPT zoom out minimize करिए.
Minimize करते भी PPT को.
आगे.
Okay. Actually जो point है एबे मु अपन मन को कहूची, it was not there in PPT. अपन का pen paper अच्छी, kindly write down this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So regulation under it was la direct regulation. Direct regulation under it, we will discuss 4 different points. First point or 5 different points. First point है कौन? Now always government try to fix the minimum and maximum prices of the commodity. Right? So अपन point एमती लिखो तो fixing of minimum and maximum price of the commodity. Right? Second, we'll go for industrial licensing. Second point is the direct regulation of the government, that is industrial licensing. Industrial licensing. Allocation of foreign exchange. Allocation of foreign exchange. Allocation of foreign exchange. Came to the next one, that is quantitative restrictions. Quantitative restrictions in import and export. Quantitative restrictions on import and export. And came to the last point, that is rationing supplies. Rationing supplies and distribution of particulars. Rationing supplies and distribution of particulars. Rationing supply and distribution of particulars. Well, panchta point puchi do kono. First puchi, always government try to fix the minimum.
Ma'am, please third point again, ma'am. Please third point.
Third point is the allocation of foreign exchange. Allocation of foreign exchange, that is the third point.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So first one is
Ma'am,
government.
last point, please.
ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ପରେ ଗୋଟେ discussion କରିବେ ଆପଣ ଯେ ଚାହିଁବେ ତା
Okay.
ଭିତରେ okay. So first one is fixation of minimum and maximum prices of the commodity. Right? ता जदि सेटा आपण बुझिबे गुड इकोनॉमिक एनवायरनमेंट में, that is a certain point that we always try to discuss, that is called price distribution and control. Price distribution and control also came under the direct regulation and is very similar to this point. तामाने कोन, when there is a MRP, fine, अपन को प्रोडक्ट ऊपर MRP लिखा होची, government rules that came a approval that this particular commodity should not be raised price above this, and the product should not be sold below the price, below the particular rate. That means what, government give a clear guideline that whatever the commodities that should be sold in between this slabs of price, so that it could be affordable for the general public. Why this particular direct control was there? Because our country is not a very hugely developed country where people have all like 100% population have the employability. We do not have 100% population have earning capability. No, we do not have. And 100% population have a consumption ability. No, we do not have. So if all these things have certain kind of lacuna, so for the betterment of the public, for the betterment of the people or consumers, it is very much required that you have to make a consumption parity. You have to make certain slabs through which you could able to, the manufacturer has to sell the product in between these slabs. That was the first direct control. Second direct control is the industrial licensing. So if you're really looking forward to make any industry, you have to take certain license from the government, and that's being provided only by the government. So that is called industrial licensing, which is a direct regulation. Third regulation is like an allocation of foreign exchange. Right? So the foreign platform, if you are really looking forward to sell your product in the global market, you require a platform, a foreign platform you require, and that is being provided by the government. Fourth one, Koji, allocation on quantitative restrictions of the import and export. Quantitative restrictions not right? Simple. If the quantitative restrictions are not there, then what happened? Any product which are very qualitative, it's a very bitter truth of our country that whatever product we are cultivated or manufactured, sorry, whoever is having this microphone on, kindly mute it. Mute kar diyo to aage, ye on kar diyo. So if you do not have, discussion totally, that is a very bitter truth that whatever quality products available in the market, right? Sorry, manufacture होची है तो फिर cultivation होची. अपन ती डबल नहीं चलती. Manufacturer होची या तो फिर cultivation होची. All these products which are having the high quality product that is being exported to the various countries. এটা কোন হচ্ছে না various country को export होची. Now the product which Indians are using, that is either semi, the quality is semi or a lower quality product that we are using in our country. जदि गवर्नमेंट आपरे क्वांटिटेटिव रेस्ट्रिक्शंस न पकेब कोन हो so whatever the manufacturing unit, whatever the cultivated people, they are trying to export all qualitative product to the various different countries on the US dollar, and जत्ते भी अपन लो क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट है सेटा इंडिया रे बिक्री हो. So it is one of the direct control of government. Say, अपने भी qualitative product found. So the genuine human being of our country should have a ability or should have the awareness about that, and government तक provide करो. इटा कौन है ना state wise भी differ करे. Right. So state wise can differ करे जेमती कि अपन का state आमर state का differ. ओडिशा government केते quantitative restrictions पकेबो in the import and export. So it is based on the government of Odisha. Fine. जेमती कि अपन कौन से भी project नहीं चलते हमरो ओडिशा market रे product are low quality product. But say here if you go to Delhi or you go to Mumbai, you could able to find out that the product which are sold, specifically I'm talking about the food product, that is semi or average products. But Odisha is a low quality product with you. So it's based on not only the central government, but also it is one of the duty of the state government to take a step forward on the quantitative restrictions of import and export. Came to the last point. Last point I am going to rationing of allocations. Rationing of allocations and rationing of the distribution of the particulars. Rationing of supplies. Can you please, whoever is, mic
निहार
take
अरे निहार बंद कर माइक देखो.
Okay, so while we're talking about rationing, so how we will see to the rationing? Rationing गोटे बहुत भल जिनसे जोटा कि सरकार करे जेमति कि आगुर आपनकर घरे पानी मीटर बसिला कि यस और नो. ओडिसा रे जो माने रहउचनी पानी मीटर आगुर बसतिला, वाटर सप्लाई ऊपर मीटर बसतिला.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
करतलु बिंदास पानी यूज करतलु, गाड़ी दउतलु, घर दउतलु, एक्सेट्रा 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 बिंदास पानी यूज करतलु, कळ खुला रहउतिला. We are never bothered about that. Why? Because we have to pay a certain amount before this meter. आम्ही कोण करते fixed amount थिला, which is like 200, 250, 300, that we have to pay to government. And bindas गाड़ी घोड़ा etc 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 etc, or maybe sometimes motor लागिथिबा पानी जाउथिबा हमर मन नथिबो. तो सरकार कोन कले राशनिंग कले. आम्ही जेंति घरे राशनिंग करू सेंति सरकार राशनिंग कले. कौन कले मीटर बसी दले. अभी कौन है आपन मीटर बसी गला, सरकार संगे संग पैसा नेले. देखो सरकार भी बहुत चालाक से कहले आगे लोक माने जानो कि से केते वेस्टेज करछन. हठात से जतले 3-4 मास पर आपन बिल आसिला, इट वाज लाइक 4000, 3000, 2000 एमटी आसिला. ते पानी यूज करछि 2000, 3000 सतरे भी मोर सर्टेन अमाउंट रो पानी फ्री भी अछि. तापरे मते एते बिल अछि. तापरे यू हैव टू डिक्रीज योर कंजम्पशन, decrease your use. अपन कौन कले टैप ऑन कले, टाइम सेट कले फॉर दी मटर. गाड़ी नहीं कि बाहर 50 टका दे धोई कि नहीं आसले, घरे धोइले नहीं, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा practices you have made. Now in that way the utilization of the natural resources made in a proper way. इटा ही तो सरकार चाहूतिले. ता बाद कोन हला सरकार का अर्निंग भी बढ़िला. So you pay whatever used of whatever you used, you pay for that. That is called rationing supply of certain particulars of government, which is also direct control of government. एटा भी गोटे certain industry हमरो जेते आपण नै जानतु पानी, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा ऊपर सरकार राशनिंग करती और मीटर बसाती. एटा one of the example of that. Got it? बुझी पाले चारटा पॉइंट.
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
So these are called direct control. Came to the indirect control. Indirect control is what is indirect control? Write down. The first point is indirect regulations are like fiscal regulations and monetary regulations. Indirect regulations are fiscal and monetary regulations. Second one, custom tariff, custom tariff. Third one, changing interest rate. Changing interest rate. And the fourth one is called regulating money and credit creation. Regulating money and credit creation. Regulating money and credit creation.
Ma'am, 4 point.
Fourth point is regulating money and credit creation. Regulating money and credit creation.
Ma'am, first and second one, can you repeat it?
First one is indirect regulations on fiscal and monetary policy. Indirect regulation on fiscal and monetary policy. The second point, that is custom tariff. Custom tariff. TARIFF tariff. Custom tariff. Fine. So, take a discussion about what are the indirect regulations. First one, that is called indirect regulation for the monetary and fiscal policy. Now, what is monetary policy and what is fiscal policy? I will introduce a little bit about that. First one, monetary policy. Monetary policy is being regulated by RBI, whereas fiscal policy is regulated by Government of India. Both the policy have a basic ideology, have a basic objective, that is anchor the money from the public and to make economic development. These are the basic, जदि आपण कहउछन preliminary objective कोन ना लोकन को to पैसा create करिवा, creation of money for the country and development of the economy. Third, when we are talking about monetary policy, all the banking regulations, banking rates are being identified by the monetary policy by the RBI governor with the help of the Ministry of Finance. जेमति कि RBI रे भी Ministry of Finance रो किछि लोक part of RBI थांती, so that it was not ideally RBI is taking all the decisions. RBI has to take a permission from the Ministry of Finance so that he could able to utilize the regulations what is being prepared by the RBI. RBI रो जो monetary policy रो काम होला कोन ना गोटे particular जिंस को control करबा सेटा होला demand and supply of money. So RBI always try to create the demand for money. Demand को केमति create करिवो ना through the utilization of loan, through the identification of saving rates, through the encouraging people to make RD, like different kind of deposits and all, so that apanଙ୍କର economic development ho. Same while when we are talking about fiscal policy, why fiscal policy is very essential in point of view of study. Fiscal policy it is a governmental policy where the government is the authority. Fiscal policy through fiscal policy is called a ratio of government expenditure and income. Fine, it is a ratio between how much government was incurred from the general public, or maybe the civilization of the government of India, and how that is being distributed in certain areas or expenditure in certain areas. तार जो ratio सेटा को हमें कहूँ कोण ना fiscal policy. सबल मन रखतंतु इंडिया गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया रो गोटे बेसिक प्रॉब्लम हुए कोण ना हमें जेतरे टैक्स पेयर होछु that is less than 5%, those who are paying the tax less than only 5%, and while we are talking about making an expenditure of that particular amount, it is for the 100% population. Government जेतले कोनोसी facility create करछि सेटा 100% population पाई के रहउछि, but जेतले tax payer रहउछन्ती only 5 to 7% of the whole population making the giving the taxes. Now because of this, always government was in a deficit forward, and say सेटा को हमें कहउछु कोन fiscal deficit. जेतले हमें पढिबा fiscal policy, we will go for a detail. Now सबले मन रखंतु एटा को indirect regulation, why it is called indirect regulation, तार basic reason हला कोन ना, it was while taking the money, it is only the taxpayer who are giving the money. जो माने taxpayer लोन दे से माने कोनोसी पैसा दो ना दे सेति एटा 100% population पाई हुए, Right? But ଯେତେବେଳେ expenditure କଥା ଆସୁଛି, creation of free hospitals, creation of free schools, government schools, midday meals, expenditure made to the buying the arms and all for the army people. So ଏଗୁଡ଼ା ସବୁ जो expenditure ରହୁଛି ତାକୁ ସେ 100% population utilize କରୁଛି. So that's why it is a indirect control. Same while when we are talking about monetary policy is creating the different rules regulation for the banking operation. नहीं जानते गोटे रिक्शा वाला से जति के अर्न करछि सति के खाउछि तार कोनोसी बैंक रे अकाउंट नाही तो someone has to force him to बैंक रे अकाउंट खोल किछ दरकार नाही से खोलुनी so से neither monetary policy रे आछछि ना fiscal policy रे आछछि. That's why it is called a indirect regulation of the government. Came to the next one, that is called custom tariff. Custom tariff माने कोन जेतेबेला आपण custom clearance आउचदी कोनो सिंस एक्सपोर्ट करूचदी you have to pay certain amount to the government, that is called custom tariff. It is related to trade related monetary transactions to the government. Came to the third one, changing interest rate. So according to the demand and supply of the money, the interest rate also change, or it will be changed either by RBI or by government. Fine. Jitala RBI interest rate change kurchi, it is also how much money is there, how much it is required according to the demand of the products and supply of the products. Adara se kon kare na interest rate change kare, and government bhi se kare jitala bahut deficit hochi, government bhi apna taxation slabs kare changes kare, licensing re changes kare, direct and indirect tax re changes kare. Fine. Came to the last one, that is called regulating money and creation of credit. This is basically the work of monetary policy. Now, regulating the money and supply. Regulation आपण केमती create करिवे, केमती आपण money रा supply टाको control करिवे. Now, if the country will asking for maximum loans, right? ताले कोण बना banking organization will grow marginally. It was not only offering loans but recovery also if you made the recovery simultaneously. Fine. जदि खाली गोटे organization गोटे bank loan offer करछि but the recovery percentage was very less, then it was a loss. But creation of loan is always supposed to creation of demand of the money. Second one is called the credit creation, which is already been discussed. Credit creation through the loan. Now supply of money. Jetiki loan is asking by the whole India, satike paisa bank pakhre thiba darkar. Now to understand that concept, we will definitely going to read CRR, SLR report through which the bank is creating money to make this demand and supply equivalence. Fine. So came to the next one, that is called promotional role. Now, what are the different type of promotional role we have? Promotional role lekhantu. Promotional role also have three different types. First one is called initiating and promoting the development of infrastructure. First, development of infrastructure. Development of infrastructure. That is the first point. Second point, providing assistance for development of backward areas. So, development of backward areas. Development of backward areas. Came to the third one, providing fiscal and monetary initiatives or incentives, you can write. Providing monetary and fiscal incentives. Monetary and fiscal incentives, you can write also facilities. Incentives and facilities.
मैम सेकंड टा रिपीट करिवे.
Second is development of backward areas. Development of backward areas. So try to understand these three points. In promotional role, government always try to take an initiation to promote the development of infrastructure. So this infrastructure continued with the infrastructure of industry, infrastructure of individual, so that the economic development simultaneously made by the government of India. Fine. So government ର କାମ ହେଲା କଣ ନା ସେ ସବୁବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ initiation ନବ. He always take a initiation towards the development of infrastructure. A infrastructure individual भी अपन କହିବେ, infrastructure including industries भी ରହୁଛି. Second one more promotional role of government is to create or encourage the giving assistance to for the development of backward areas. এটা কেমতি হচ্ছে আপন মতে কইবে? Backward areas development, or it is already been discussed in the last class. Backward area ର development ସରକାର କେମତି କରୁଛନ୍ତି?
CSR project.
Sorry?
CSR project, ma'am.
Okay, CSR project, very good. What else was there? How कौन? Because देखो CSR-Bee कितने percent industries କରୁଛନ୍ତି? Out of total, only 17% industries are making CSR.
Ma'am, business also doing a project for the development of the backward areas.
Oh, definitely. But what is that exactly? How the government was taking initiation for the development of backward areas? That is creating a business. But how? Because if someone will ask me to go and create your industry, might be I will say no, because why to go backward areas where I have to build everything? I'll have to build infrastructure, I'll have to build technology, I'll have to bring good and skilled people, so everything is there. It is all having a lacuna. Then
when business started in a local area, giving employment to that people of that area.
Okay. Government actually pushes maximum manufacturing unit, those products which are liberating certain kind of poisonous gases or liberating some of the poisonous liquid substance. It was harmful for the company if the company was made in an urban area, because in urban area it will require a huge land for the recycling of these all waste products. That's why government push these organizations to create their subsidiary business in the rural areas or backward areas. Right? When the organization will create their subsidiary manufacturing unit, specifically manufacturing unit in the backward areas, they will not only create employability for the backward areas, but also it will develop simultaneously. If that is an organization in a very deep rural area, or might be there is an organization on a very backward area where there is no electricity, no water supply, no facilities, no internet, the company who will be creating a subsidiary business over that particular place, he will create everything. Right? He will create, he will try to first came along with the electricity before, going for the manufacturing unit. Say first from the electricity and pani and development kariba, so ultimately the backward area development is. So that is how the government will emphasize input, or you can say that push the different manufacturing units, specifically those manufacturing units who came along with the liberation of poisonous gases or liberation of the poisonous liquid substance. ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ଠେଲେ ସେ ଯୋଉ ବାଇଚା backward area ରେ ତୋର organization create କର. Right? And in that way the backward area ultimately goes to a certain upward direction. जेमति कि आज का डेट रे आपण देखंतु जते केवीके एरिया रो आसुचंदी, हमें गोटे टाइम रे केवीके एरिया को बहुत ये करथुलु कि सेठी लोक माने बेसे एजुकेटेड नोंती, सेठी ना एजुकेशनल फैसिलिटीज आर नॉट देयर, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, हमें गुटे भाबी दोथु. But now the things are very rapidly changed. आज का डेट रे maximum English medium schools are there, colleges are there, government taking initiations of came along with the modern school concept and all, so that the areas will develop with the education. Right? So this is how the backward areas are being developed through the initiation of government initiation through it. It is only one example. What else was that? The third one is called changing investment. Sorry, the third one is called providing monetary and fiscal incentives and facilities. Now, what is monetary facility? आपको हिसाब से कौन है monetary facility? What is monetary facility according to you? RBI कौन facilities दूँगी?
Ma'am, providing fund to start a business.
Very good. RBI always giving facilities to the priority people. So was government. Priority key. For an example, the person who is having a PPL card, he could able to create, open a zero balance account. Fine. A person who is really looking forward to make a startup, he will came along with the project, and if the project was approved, then he could able to avail a loan to create an industry, to create an employability for others. So RBI ର initiation जोटा कि गवर्नमेंट भी सपोर्ट करूची जेमती आपण नै जानतु गवर्नमेंट रो सपोर्ट हैला डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ अटल पेंशन प्लान हो सेटा भी सपोर्ट टू द जनरल पब्लिक जो मानकर किछि अर्निंग नहीं ता माने आपनकर पेंशन नै फाइन 2004 परे सरकार पेंशन उठै देले एबे लोक माने हरान होचन दैट वंस माय जॉब इज ओवर I am above 60 where I will search a job for myself. That is a very few opportunity. If I do not have that opportunity, how I will run myself? How is that any financial deficiency more no ho seti pai mo sarkar karo plans ko nouchi. Right? Kaha through le nouchi? RBI through le nouchi. Government also provides certain different kind of loans which are for the priority people. Came to the next one, fiscal incentives कौन? Fiscal incentives तो आपण बहुत गुड़ा पाइबे जेमति कि आपनकर आहार योजना, उज्ज्वला योजना, आपनकर अन्नपूर्णा कार्ड, etc. starting from creating house to having food. Suppose रे बेरोजगारी योजना. So ए सब हैला कोन ना fiscal incentives जोटा कि सरकार दउचनी काहा को जो माने priority sector. Now, in that way also, Sarkar tried to, or government tried to promote the people towards development. Came to the third one, that was called entrepreneurial role. Entrepreneurial role, right? The line lekundu. Entrepreneurial role always focuses to the ownership and economic development. Entrepreneurial role always focuses to ownership and economic development, where the government provides private enterprise and management system. Government provide private enterprise and management system, and also focuses to secure balanced development, and also focuses to secure balanced development. Secure balanced development. Now, in simply, what is entrepreneurial role? So, if you see Achika date, the government of India is made so many initiations through which a person can create an organization, a person can start a business. So that might be a business loan, a startup loan, or sick industrial loan, or maybe it is kind of a education which is came along with the EDPS format time to time with free of cost. For an example, you want to create an industry, but you do not have enough understanding of that particular manufacturing. Now, government provides so many online and offline programs through which you could be able to, generate your skills, understood that concept, and then start your own enterprise with the help of the government. Fine. So that is called entrepreneurial role, which has a basic motive. Called na apna owner role. Right. So besides to work for someone else, you should have to create your own business. That is called creation of enhancement of ownership. Now, apart from ownership, you have to focus to economic development. Right? So whenever you create a business, that means you are create employability of a certain number of people. Now, when you create employability, definitely the growth was there. Growth. Which you achieved, so that was called entrepreneurial growth. Came to the last one, that was called the role of, planning. Now, what is planning role? That how the economic development will be came to us with the acceleration way. तमने आमो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट कितने रैपिड वे रे परिबो सेटा बी गवर्नमेंट रो गोटे कंसर्न पार्ट एंड फॉर दैट गवर्नमेंट इज मेकिंग सर्टेन काइंड ऑफ प्लानिंग जेमति कि आपण माने सुनिथिबे सरकार को 5 वर्षीय योजना सरकार को 10 वर्षीय योजना द विजन ऑफ मोदी सरकार द मिशन ऑफ मोदी सरकार दैट मींस व्हाट government tried to make certain plan. It is a time slab plan ame kochu time lab plan kochu but a particular time period pai ki government is creating certain plan for the betterment of the people, betterment of the industries, and so that the business environment certainly run. Mujhe like chatta ka point. If you have
Yes,
any
ma'am.
question regarding that, please ask. If you have any question, Philomene, kindly ask. No questions? Okay, thank you. So we'll go to the next question. मुकली discussion करी दोचे जी कल हमें next class में detail पढ़ना. Now, according to your syllabus, the next portion is fiscal policy and monetary policy. And we had a little bit discussion already about these two. Fiscal policy विषय हमें किसी discussion करची, monetary policy विषय किसी discussion करची. Now, see to your slide, it is written that monetary policy acts as a macroeconomic policy which is under the control of central bank. The central bank controls the money input in the economy and imparting interest rates. The interest rate is directly related to gaining the different macroscopic goals or macro social goals. The goals include inflation, the goals include consumption, as well as the goals include liquidity. Hence, the monetary policy plays a vital role in maintaining the economic growth. That means what? Monetary policy is a policy through which we could able to find out large number of facilities to our society. So, one second. Now, the Central Bank of India or RBI, the Reserve Bank of India, is responsible for creating the rules regulations of monetary policy. Now the question is, what are the different impact of monetary policy that is shown to our economy? First one, if you have a good monetary policy, then the economic development will certainly happen. Second one, if the monetary policy will be somehow not came into force in a proper way, then we could able to see a depression and recession in the banking environment. I'm not talking about the other environment. It will seen in a banking environment. Now, the monetary policy always focuses to micro social goals. Now, what is the micro social or microeconomic social goals of us? If you remember, 2 days back, I told you that what is the wealth of an individual. What is individual look for a wealth for? And we through a simple calculation of simple calculation called if Mr. X is earning 50,000 rupees and his expenditure to run himself is like 5,000 rupees, he has a liability on loan which has to pay to bank, that is 20,000 rupees. That means his expenditure of a month is 20,000 rupees. Rest 20,000 rupees to say 15,000 tanga save kuruchi in either bank or maybe in stock, or last to 10,000 say the opening balance for the next month, because there is a huge uncertainty whether I am having my salary on right time or not. Got it? से जो 15,000 टंका ता सेविंग से जदि आरबीआई रे रखुची, then we could say that this is what our socio-economic goal. That means मु जो पैसा रोजगार करुची से पैसा ता ideal condition रे न रही, I should have to implement that money in certain organization where I could able to came along with the profit. Fine. तो मु गोटे एमिति इंस्टीट्यूशन रे को लगेबी जोटी मु ता द्वारा किछि प्रॉफिट पाउची. ए जो सोशियो इकोनॉमिक ऑब्जेक्टिव टाको फुलफिल करूची किए ना बैंक फुलफिल करूची, आरबीआई फुलफिल करूची थ्रू द डिफरेंट फैसिलिटीज where it was provided by the RBI. एटा हला गोटे मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी रो बेसिक काम, or you can say that it is one of the basic ideology of the monetary policy. कौन ideology ना first है economic development करिबो, second है socio economic objective of the individual को से fulfill करिबो. Right? So tomorrow we will go to the proper discussion or total discussion of this. If you have any question, please ask Pilamani, otherwise we will close down.
Ma'am,
Please.
मैम हमर जो 30 एग्जाम हबो माने फर्स्ट टाइम ना सेकंड टाइम
एग्जाम तमरो जहां भी हेले it will be notified 1 month before of the commencement of exam. Don't worry, it will be notified 1 month before the commencement exam. जदि डिसेंबर रे हबार थाता तले एतळ को आपनकर नोटिफाई हे जेता ता माने हां
Impact of monetary policy, one is on economic development and another one is social.
One is your economic development and second one is your monetary policy focuses to the socio-economic objective of the general people. Socio-economic objective. It is socio-economic objective that will fulfill it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, Pilamani? And don't worry about the examination. Examination hobar dita jemti earthquake asir dita symptoms thai. Semti examination hobar symptoms hela ame dei dobu assignment au dei dobu tomoro timetable. Masote gurgul. So you have enough time. I know 90% of students are very studious. ସେମାନେ ଆଗରୁ ପାଠ ପଢିଥିବେ, but 10% ଥାନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ଶୁଭ ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତକୁ ଅପେକ୍ଷା କରିଥିବେ. ସେ assignment ଦିଆରେ ଶୁଭ ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତ ଆସିବ, ପାଠ ପଢା ଆରମ୍ଭ ହେବ. ତମମାନେ ସବୁ ଜାଣି ପାରିବ. ଓକେ.